Today we will talk about an important aspect of mending mistakes that happen in our prayers. And this is known as Sujood as-sahw, or the prostration of forgetfulness. These two prostrations take place at the end of our prayer when there is an error made. And the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, if one of you forgets something in his prayer, let him prostrate twice. And this is his doing. The Prophet did this, alayhi salatu wasalam, and the consensus of scholars that it is to be done. And there are three reasons for it. Either one adds something to the prayer, or omits something in the prayer, or doubts whether he did something wrong or not. Now, having said that, we must acknowledge that you may make a mistake in one of the pillars of the salat, or one of the mandatory acts of salat, or something that is part of the voluntary acts of salat. In pillars of salat, your prayer is invalid if you skip something and do not offer it in the prayer. So for example, Fajr prayer has 2 ruku' and 4 sujood. This is pillars. If I prayed 2 rak'ahs of Fajr and offered 3 sujood and concluded my salat and then remembered, should I compensate that by 2 sujood as-sahw? The answer is no. If I don't manage to offer the 4th missed rukun pillar, my prayer is invalid. So I have to offer it and then fix whatever it can be fixed. If someone prays Dhuhr prayer 3 rak'ahs and concludes the prayer and someone reminds him, he cannot compensate that by offering sujood as-sahw. He has to stand up and pray a full rak'ah, which is a pillar, then compensate that mistake with 2 sujood as-sahw. In mandatory acts, such if a person forgets to say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim, or does not offer the first tashahhud, and he goes to remember at the end of the salat, he compensates this with 2 sujood as-sahw. So skipping it out of forgetfulness or ignorance can be compensated. Not in the case of rukun, a pillar. And especially if this is the first pillar, takbiratul ihram, he doesn't offer it. And in the middle of the salat, he remembers, whoops, I didn't offer takbiratul ihram. Okay, I'll compensate that by sujood as-sahw. No, your whole prayer is invalid. You have to start from the beginning. So sort of something that is not confusing at all. It's very easy to find a way to correct it and rectify it. Now, we have to remember that the Prophet ﷺ made such sujood as-sahw in his prayers during his lifetime, as per the hadith of Abu Mas'ud, the hadith of Abu Hurairah, Abdullah ibn Buhayna, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, and others. But we find that the Prophet sometimes did the 2 prostrations of sahw before concluding his prayer with salam, and sometimes he did it after concluding his prayer with salam. So when to do this and when to do that? Now, we will explain this according to the textbook, then try to simplify it in our own ways if this is possible.